Well, live from a rainy Jackie Robinson Ballpark here in downtown Daytona Beach, Florida, it's time for the final game of this season opening series between the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats and the Stonehill College Skyhawks. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Trevello. Happy to have your company for this last game of the opening series of the season. We played a doubleheader yesterday with the Wildcats taking Game 1 7-1, Game 2 12-1, and they're looking for a season sweep here this afternoon. It is going to be a weird setup here today. Bear with us. If you were with us last night, you know that there's some renovations being done to the jack right now. The roof is off of the press box and most of the back half of the stadium, so we cannot use our normal facilities. Last night we were behind the plate, but unfortunately because of the pretty heavy rain that is falling right now, we have been reduced to under an awning back all the way in the right field line as the Wildcats and Skyhawks are out on the field now awaiting the national anthem.
Staff here earlier this year, one of the press box. Now we've lost what we were given yesterday in the front course area, or all the way, I'm sure Mike has touched on it, the Turtle's Nest. I appreciate you coming for me, Mike, in the early part, looking around, trying to finish up some last-minute setup things. I don't know how long the camera will last over there. It's glad it's covered, but you never know. If we decide to switch to a radio call, it may be the best we could do. We should be able to cover the whole game. Bear with us. We're under a lot of different conditions this first couple weekends, but we're going to make do as best we can and get you that stuff really excited today, especially with, like you said, Barry on the mound. He works quick. He works precisely. We're not going to be able to see a ton as far as, pitch location from where we're at, but he's going to fire in the strike zone.
Hey, one, hold that free, Kyle. Hold that free.
Here's a guy who really had a great finish to the weekend because he guy that gives you some length. He works so quickly, so he's going to get you maybe some slog endings to some trips, some homestands. He's really great for that Sunday spot.
One away, here's Sam.
No way.
Parks yesterday.
Go, Parsley!
No one whose offensive stats walking. He struck out 4 times. It's a high in the air. Out of play.
Let's go, 5.
Tough. Is there an Essential water bottle on the bench there? Yeah, can you hand it to me?
Guy doesn't really have a lot of K stuff as that pitch goes at the knees for strike 2.
And you know, there's certain scenarios where Gaviria's not best built for. With that being said,
This one's hit in the air, and it'll be down in front of the center fielder for a base hit. Sam Parks, his first base knock of the season.
we see right there, Gaviria, contact first, always. He doesn't really have a true strikeout pitch. He's a guy that really has to locate exceptionally well if he's going to get swings and misses. He's got to worry a little bit on deception with the velocity's not there. He's a guy that's going to let the defense work, and that's why it's so important that the Wildcats do have such a strong defense as they've shown the last handful of years.
Here's Trey Chula-Hall at bat now, the righty third baseman. First pitch, upstairs, ball 1. He was one of the 2 players for this roster that got 2 hits yesterday, the other being Connor Kiley over the 2 games as the Wildcats really shut down the Stonehill offense in game 2, only allowing 3 hits, but did allow 8 hits in game 1, but only 1 run, and that was in the 9th inning. Here's a 1-0. Swung on, grounded to third, past the reaching glove of Gonzalez and into the corner. Parks is going to hold it third, digging for second, Chula-Hall, and he'll be there with a double.
We've seen a lot of starts like this for Gaviria throughout last season. When you're relying so much on contact, it's easy, especially when we saw such exceptional guys on the mound for BCU yesterday. It's a little bit of a different look for Stonehill, so maybe they're able to see the ball a little bit better. Of course, the rain today certainly doesn't help matters, but he also is a guy who's very quick to settle in, so he should be able to kind of lock in, shut things down. Shouldn't be too worried about him just yet.
Here's one of only 2 Skyhawks players on an RBI. Is Thornhill, lasers it all the way to the right center field gap. That'll score 2 as Sam Parks and Chula-Hall come in, and it's 2-0 Stonehill.
You know, momentum's a word that gets thrown around a lot in sports in general. In baseball, it's a tough one to really put it on there because you see a Skyhawks team that got beaten around yesterday, really didn't show a whole lot of signs, maybe except for a couple situations where they had the bases loaded, a couple guys on. Coming right out swinging today, not afraid to swing the bat, especially in the rain, getting on the board early.
Here's Blaine Lidsky, who yesterday played in both games, but DH one game, catcher the next game. He's back to DH today, takes a strike on the outside corner at the knees, 0-1, and a tough start for Gaviria. We saw Marcus Gamboa yesterday be that kind of pitch-to-contact pitcher, but got a lot of fly balls and soft ground outs. It's been hard-hit line drives early in this first inning.
Yeah, last time we saw Gaviria was in the SWAC championship game, came in relief of Nolan Santos when he got hit around a little bit early in that one.
The 0-2, breaking ball low, and it is 1-2.
That game in particular is one of those tough spots for Gaviria when you're against a lineup that feeds off of contact, works the base paths. When you can't get the swings and misses, it can be a little difficult to get out of situations like that.
This time it's a soft grounder, third base side. Fabo fields and fires, reach for Soufrain, and he's out. Nice reach by Manny to secure it, and there's 2 away. Thorbon does advance the second.
That's going to be Gaviria's bread and butter the whole afternoon, the whole season. That's how he's made his hay here in the SWAC. But, of course, having a guy like Manny Soufrain over at first, we saw him outstanding yesterday in Game 2, digging a handful of tough balls out of the dirt. Well, out of the turf, I should say. But he knows how to handle it over there. I think this is the closest we've seen yet for Soufrain, is maybe working his way into a full-time starter over there.
Breaking ball strike. First pitch to Jack Marshall, the shortstop. Thorbon on second, 2 outs, 2 in the inning on Thorbon's 2 RBI single. Gaviria fires one high, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. This is the first time the Wildcats have been behind this season, so we're going to see what the offense is truly made of after cruising to 2 wins yesterday. Gaviria comes inside, but gets a strike on a jump back by Marshall, and it's 1-2. Hit high in the air, third base side, that'll go into the Budweiser bullpen. And since we are all the way down the third base line, we are in the line of fire, so to speak.
It is
if
nice.
If a ball comes our way.
Not have to duck and cover today. Certainly appreciate it on our end. Budweiser bullpen's another place we looked at preseason to potentially send the broadcast up depending how logistics went.
Inside, looking for a third strike, won't get it, and it's 2-2 on Marshall. Marshall yesterday in 6 at-bats had 1 hit and was hit by a pitch once. Gaviria winds and fires. Soft pop up to the right-hand side, and that hits right off the ceiling right above us.
Well, we spoke too soon. That was a ringer too. Knocked some dust, some dirt loose onto our setup here. Gonna try to do some cleanup. Don't say that the broadcast crew, we're not athletes, guys. We're battling out here today. We're giving it our all. It's what the people deserve.
That one on the ground, right side, and in the air, and it's caught by Garrett Shunn. So a strong start for Stonehill College. 2 runs on 3 hits and 1 left. And we go to the bottom of the first. Skyhawks 2. Wildcats coming to bat right here on the CatEye Network. Home conference play continues for BCU basketball Saturday, February 24th for a SWAC doubleheader. Come out and catch hoops action as we host Alabama A&M for a pair of critical SWAC contests. The women tip things off at 2 p.m. with the men following at 4. Admission is free with a student ID. Or you can catch the action live on youtube.com/CatEye Network. A 2-0 hole for the BCU offense to start the game as they get a look at Zach Gleason, the junior from Gadsden, Alabama, in his 3rd season at Stonehill. Another one of those players that made the transition from Division II up to Division I last year. Only played 6 games and just struck out 15.
A lot of new arms in this rotation. They were bolstered by a bunch of freshmen last year for Stonehill.
It'll be Daniel Figueroa to lead it off for the Wildcats in the bottom of the first. Figueroa yesterday in 7 at-bats, he had 1 hit, a double, and an RBI, and was also walked once. The lefty center fielder stands in and faces the righty Gleason, who winds and fires. Upstairs, ball 1. One of the things that made especially game 2 so lopsided yesterday was Stonehill at times, especially out of the bullpen, struggled to find the strike zone. That time Gleason does.
That especially came out of the bullpen, of course. It was just the misses weren't close and gave the Wildcats an easy chance to take a lot of walks yesterday.
Airs a strike, and it's 1-2. Overall, the Wildcats in 2 games were walked 11 times. That one is watched by Figueroa off the outside corner, 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him with the high heater. And down goes Figueroa. And since we are kind of behind the Skyhawks bench, you may hear some cheers from their side.
Certainly seems like the most juice that's been in that dugout since we've been out here this weekend, for good reason.
And here's Garrett Chun. First pitch in there for a strike, 0-1. Chun yesterday, 5 at-bats, had 2 hits and 4 ribbies. He chops one foul, and he's quickly behind 0-2. Garrett was one of those players yesterday that seemed like he just picked up right where he left off from last season.
Worked some walks, got a couple of timely base hits. Ended the day with 4 RBI. Really solid.
Upstairs, ball 1, 1-2 to Chun. But this is the kind of game where if you're Coach Hernandez, you don't want your team to go to sleep on this. Chun fouls it off left-hand side.
It's always so tough, the last end of any weekend, especially after a long, long, long day yesterday. Guys weren't really getting all the way out of here till past 10 o'clock. Guys got to stay locked in.
1-2. Outside, 2-2.
Textbook kind of day, too, where you kind of, well, we got down early, phoned it in. It's wet, it's a little chilly, a little windy. But that's not the type of mentality a championship team needs to have.
Upstairs, and it's a walk, as again, the scoreboard was a pitch behind. And so Chun takes his first base run of the day for the Wildcats, and it'll bring up the starlet of yesterday, Jorge Gonzalez-Febo.
And what a debut for him. I mean,
and we're going to have some conversations. Do we think that the count on the board was right and it was 2-2, not 3-2? We had this issue yesterday where the umpires disagreed with both benches and each other with what the count was, and we had about a 5-minute stoppage.
yeah, not to mention the board had something different that the official had, that our live stats crew had. And so we're all kind of trying to piece it together. Got a nice tap on the shoulder.
Ball 3, and it will be a full count to Chun. He'll have to step back in the box, and this is a tough situation as a hitter because mentally you've moved on. You're on first base. You're thinking about, oh, maybe getting a steal, maybe trying to scratch a run across. Now you got to go back and face a full count.
Yeah, it's another one where you kind of just lock in. If you're out there on the mound, you need to pump something in that's competitive. The last thing you want to do is throw one in the dirt, just end up right where we were. It's a good chance to kind of steal some momentum back. Not that maybe there was a ton, considering it's just a walk, but these little things add up early in games like this.
For Gleason, it's another chance to strike another guy out. Chun puts his elbow protector back on and stands in. Full count delivery from Gleason, and it's fouled straight back. Something that Coach Hernandez said to us yesterday was he wanted to get to the Skyhawks bullpen early. That's probably going to be the case again today. Outside ball 4, so I write the walk right back in where I erased it before. That time it will count and bring up Febo.
And it's good poise there for Chun to get in there and foul one off before taking the walk. But again, like we said with Febo yesterday, I mean, what a debut for the kid. I mean, an absolute bomb over to the bullpen on his first at-bat, second pitch he saw, took one deep. There's so much excitement.
Spin it a throwback to first. That's another hallmark of this Stonehill team. They will pick off everybody every time.
First base, second base, they tried all of it yesterday. Don't
Probably
recall them throwing one away, but
probably would have tried third if they'd had the opportunity. Here's the first pitch to Febo. It's high, ball 1.
kid that just looks so mature at the plate, the way he handles ABs. He took some tough calls on the edge yesterday. Showcased a great eye. Obviously hammered every time he was given the opportunity.
And almost had a second home run. Missed it by about a foot and actually caused Kylie to make a great catch out in left. Fouled away.
With all the hard contact he had yesterday, I'm sure he tried to tell you he probably thought he could have had 3 if everything went the right way. He hit some hard hit balls. Some of them got a little bit under them. Yeah. Others just benefit of a great catch out there in the outfield by Keeley.
I think he will find that this place is hard to hit a home run out of consistently. As Gleason spins and throws back to first again. The scouting report for BCU must have been likes to steal a lot. check over.
They certainly did 2 years ago. Last year weren't quite that level of base running team.
Swinging a hard hit ball out to left. Keeley going back. He will watch it go! Or was it foul? We can't really
A little bit
tell.
discrepancy.
And now the umpires will talk about it again.
Looks like the old turnover in the NFL where both teams are pointing both ways. Coach Hernandez is pointing fair. The entire dugout on this side is pointing foul.
I
Officials
thought
are
it
gonna
hooked
talk about
inside
it.
the foul pole, but again, we have maybe the worst angle possible to see that.
Not to mention with the color of the sky today, there's not a ton of contrast there.
Foul ball. Wow. Another tough break for Febo.
Yeah, he's could come out of this weekend 4 or 5 balls he thinks should have cleared the wall this weekend, but whether it's on the road, especially in SWAC play, some of these shallower ballparks, he'll see those kind of balls
I'm already
work out.
thinking about the stadium up in Atlanta with those that short porch. And now the 1-2. Inside 2-2.
You know, we haven't really seen him try to go to opposite field yet. He had one fly ball yesterday that kind of went a little bit over into right center, but if he could have opposite field power, you talk about that short porch. And we haven't seen a lot of that from BCU these couple years.
Breaking ball misses high, and the count runs full 3-2. But man, that might have gone farther than the one he hit yesterday. Just a tad foul.
He may clear that scoreboard before this season's over out here.
Here's the pitch from Gleason. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down to second is not in time. Chun is in there safely, but Febo strikes out.
And I think he wanted that one back. You could tell based on his reaction right after the swing. It was a little bit high on him. Thought he was going to drop in a little bit lower. Big cut and miss.
Now we've got Jose Gonzalez. And the most at-bats of anybody yesterday with 8. He hit the home run in game 2, solo shot to put the Wildcats up 3-0 at the time. In the middle of this Wildcat order has power, maybe more so than last year.
And that could change the dynamic of the team, the outlook. When you have a guy like Febo and you can protect him in the lineup with a guy like Gonzalez, that can be huge for him getting pitches to hit later in the season, especially in tournament play.
Gleason checks the runner, comes home with it, checks swing, no swing, and a ball upstairs, 1-1. So in this first inning, we had a walk that was sent back because the umpires had the count wrong. And then we had we thought a home run that was actually foul after the umpires talked about it. Ball in the dirt, 2-1.
It's definitely a little bit of a strange day here at the Jack. Anytime you get one of these rainy, miserable days, kind of never know what's going to happen.
2-1, inside almost hit him. Ball pops out of the glove of Sengenberger, which allows Chun to go to third on a pass ball.
And BCU had their fair share of free passes yesterday, a couple of errors, a couple of miscues for the Stonehill defense. Did have a couple of stolen bases, a couple first to thirds, a couple advancing on some defensive sequences for Stonehill. They have the speed on this team up and down the lineup, really, that can make you pay for stuff like that. You don't want to give up a free run here. Now a single is guaranteed score.
And a 3-1 count for Gonzalez ahead of Gleason. Now Gleason will go from the stretch. We'll see if they try and pick Chun off at third. It is a righty looking at third base. They will not try it this time. Gleason comes home with it. And it's a big cut and miss, and the count runs full. Full count. Chun 90 feet away. It's popped up foul behind the plate, now to play. And already feels like a big moment of the game, even though we're only in the bottom of the first. With the Wildcats down 2-0.
Being able to get on the board early does go a long way in games like this for confidence of the team.
Ball low, ball 4. Ball gets away from the catcher. Chun will stay at third. And so Gonzalez on with a base on balls. The only runners of the inning have been via the stolen base. So first and third for Jorge Rodriguez, the catcher. Rodriguez, the only player that played yesterday that did not get on base at all.
Certainly has a great chance to change his fortunes here.
First pitch from Gleason. Inside corner, strike one. Rodriguez swings and fouls it away, 0-2.
This middle of the Wildcats order takes some big hacks at the ball. They're clearly trying to get in on the home run party from yesterday. Get a couple more over that fence. Doubles into the gap.
Rodriguez, one of those players from further afield from Wabash Valley College. Runner goes to second, and now he's caught in a rundown. They try and keep Chun from going home, and eventually Gonzalez reaches second base.
That was an interesting play because Gonzalez never looked like he intended to steal at all. I mean, it was very clear that on the mound, Gleason's looking over at Chun the entire time, doesn't even really spin around until Gonzalez comes to almost a complete stop middle way through the bag, trying to steal a free one.
The 0-2 is upstairs to Rodriguez, 1-2.
Let's credit Stonehill, though, for making sure that that doesn't become a free run for BCU. It's easy for younger teams, for inexperienced teams early in the season to, you know, oh, this guy's stealing, I got to pick him off.
Breaking ball misses low and away, 2-2. Wildcats one swing of the bat now for potentially tying this one up.
Those ones early in the game, too, that if you can't manage to come through in some capacity, it go back to hurt you later in the game.
The 2-2, inside almost hit him, 3-2.
Stonehill was on the wrong end of several bases loaded incidents yesterday. A couple of walks, gave some runs in both games for BCU.
This is the third full count of the inning. Ground ball to the third base side, stabbed by Chula Hall. Throws across the diamond, the ball gets away. Both runs will score. Rodriguez goes to second on the throwing error, and the Wildcats have tied the game.
And that's killer for that dugout over there. You see a lot of shoulders immediately slump over there at Stonehill. You went from getting out of the inning, having your first lead after a full inning of play of the entire weekend, and now it's a tie ball game. Wildcats still threatening. There's really been nothing from Gleason on the mound that seems to suggest that he could quickly get out of this, especially with a guy like Manny Soufrain yesterday that either hit the ball really hard or wasn't given much to hit at all.
Soufrain will bat now with Rodriguez on second. I mean, it's still not a hit for Rodriguez, but I'm sure he'll take it. He gets two RBIs out of it. First pitch to Soufrain, down the middle, strike one. Thank you for joining us on the CatEye Network this morning. We're in a really early start for us today. 11 a.m. trying to get in ahead of the rain. We didn't really succeed in that, but we're still playing anyway. Soufrain takes a big old hack at a ball in the dirt, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, Coach Hernandez was very clear with us last night. Really wanted to get this game in from that experience standpoint, get some more arms, a chance to throw, especially ahead of the FIU game, Gulf Coast next weekend.
Soufrain lines this down the first base line. It's a fair ball. That's going to head all the way to the corner. Rodriguez is going to jog home from second. Soufrain's headed to second. He will replace him with a sliding double. It's 3-2 Wildcats from absolutely nowhere.
And Manny Soufrain picking up right where he left off last season. Like we said, after a first couple hard-hit balls last night, didn't get a ton thrown his way. A lot of low and away, a lot of stuff that he just kind of had to settle for some walks. Finally got a pitch he could hit and hammered it down that right field line. He's going to be a fun player to watch, and he has a really strong chance to finally see us take that first base spot and lock it down for the entirety of a season after a couple years platooning from BCU.
Now here's Sergio Rivera. First pitch his way is bounced to the plate in cricket style. And it's 1-0. Rivera maybe the best bat the Wildcats had yesterday, even hitting down on the 7 spot. In 6 at-bats, 4 runs on 4 hits, including a triple and an RBI.
Such a deep Wildcat lineup. So dangerous.
And Rivera's now hunting a big swing as he chops that one foul, 1-1. And suddenly the mood, you mentioned it, has completely changed. The Wildcats all up on the dugout wall now. A little bit of slugged shoulders for Stonehill. But for Stonehill, remember, they got 2 runs on pretty solid contact in the top of the first. We could be in for a slugfest here this afternoon. Gleason deals. Swinging at fly ball, hit in play to shallow center. Coming on is the center fielder who makes the catch. That was Parks to end the inning. But 3 runs on 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. And we go to the second inning. It's 3-2 Wildcats right here on the CatEye Network.